you're able to really focus on some things that you feel are important, and that could be an opponent yesterday, or it could be this morning as you prepare it. You have a shooter or something like that. So, and as you mentioned too, having played them fairly recently, some of your preparation just involves what happened in the last game.
Coach, you try to win every game. Obviously, every game is important, but considering how close you are in the standings to Orlando and how every win against them could determine home court advantage if you make the play-in, does this game carry a little extra burden to make sure you get it, or not so much?
I mean, truthfully, this game is one game, as you mentioned. I say that now, and at the end of the year, you may look back and say, "Gosh, that would have been." So I think every one is important, especially as the season moves along, because you don't have the opportunity to essentially to make up for a night where you're not sharp and you're not focused. So you never know when these things are going to come into play. So I think the best way to go about it is just to focus as best you can on every game. And I don't think it's ever lost on players and things that it's a divisional matchup and things like that. But I do think this year, when so few games separate people from different, like they're in third, they're in fifth, I think that gets if you play well, usually the standings have a way of at least not completely working out the way you want, because you never know, but that's your best chance.
Coach, over years of coaching, how have you kind of learned to, I guess, find that balance of trying to make sure that you guys know the severity of these games being important down the stretch, but also, like you said, giving them a chance to kind of breathe a little bit? They already know as well how important it is. How have you kind of found that balance in your coaching over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always, it's something you try to feel. And, when you have teams, we haven't played Orlando until recently, so you suddenly, if you look at our schedule, we play each other a lot coming up. So that has a way sometimes when you play a team multiple times during a short period of time of, impacting the games even more. Not to say they're more or less important, but to answer your question, to try to answer specifically, to answer it very vaguely, I think you kind of have to feel the situation, and every game requires a little different approach. This being after All-Star, then we've got it back-to-back. There's a lot of things that kind of go into it.
And Quinn, on another macro level question, 10 of the next 12 being at home, what's a luxury that you may be afforded, if any, having this sort of schedule breakout as opposed to what the front end of the schedule meant with so many different road games?
Yeah, I think that's one part of it. That we've been on the road a lot, and some adversity on the road. The road can do a lot of things for you, even if it's harder. You have opportunities to grow maybe in a different way. It's good to be back home, to be in front of our home fans. You are able to work. If you have a travel day, it's hard to get in the gym, and so not that you're gonna practice every day or anything, but you do have an opportunity when you're at home, physically, emotionally, there's less that's required, from a travel standpoint. There's other things that are different as well, but I think that's can be significant. For us, because we have been on the road so much, there's some benefits to it as well.
Clint wasn't available the last time against Orlando. He is tonight, so how much does that just help you in game planning against them?
Yeah. We know Clint's does so many things for our team, to help us, whether it's his rebounding, defensively, all those things. So anytime you have a player of his caliber that's able to impact the game, that's a positive. I think, for us too, adding some new players that are playing, and having guys also work their way into rotations because people were out, having Larry out now, having Veet out, for us, I think there's a larger dynamic that, you know, involves continuing to try to figure out combinations and rotations that work as well. So there's a number of different dynamics going into that.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.